Breaking news. This evening, one of Britain's biggest internet personalities, young Philly, has learned his fate after being one of the most talked about cases in recent years. After many days of deliberation in Australia, young Philly was found not guilty on all three charges of sexual without consent and 2 counts of occasionally body harm. While the jury could not reach verdicts on the other charges, those still remain outstanding, meaning prosecutors will have to decide whether those charges are retired or whether he remains on bail until his next court hearing. Tonight, we're about to break down exactly what happened, how someone at the peak of their career ended up in one of the biggest criminal trials involving a UK influencer, a lesson that everybody should take from this, whether you're a man or a woman. The rise of young Philly. Just a few years ago, young Philly was unstoppable. Millions of followers, TV appearances, brand deals, football charity matches, music, sold out events. He was one of the biggest personalities to come out of the UK YouTube scene. His personality made people laugh, his energy made people want to support him. He was living the dream. And especially he was making a lot of videos with people like Chunks, a lot of the Beta Squad and things like that. And he started getting on national TV and a lot more. And you know what this does, it just elevates you to different circles. But also as you're being elevated, you also enter dark circles. As you go higher up, there isn't just good things, there's darker things than even that were at the bottom. The night that actually changed everything. Then came September 2024. After performing in Perth, young Philly met a 20-year-old woman. According to the evidence heard in court, the pair later went to the hotel where sexual activity, where obviously something took place. The prosecution argued that although the encounter began consensually, it later became violent, complaining that alleged that she withdrew consent and described, and struck, choked. Defense maintained the encounter remained consensual and denied any non-consensual activity or choking, or argued that biting was consensual. That one night would lead to almost 2 years of legal proceedings. I heard testimonies from both sides, medical evidence, photographs, witness testimony, cross-examination. The defense argued that there wasn't enough evidence to prove the most serious allegations beyond a reasonable doubt. The prosecution argued that the complaint account should be accepted. After deliberating, the jury delivered a mixed verdict. Not guilty on the 3 rape charges, but guilty on 2 assault charges. We'll call this R charges. And this means that the assault convictions stand while the prosecutors will decide whether to drop the other remaining cases. Whatever happens next, one thing is clear. The last 2 years completely changed the trajectory of young Philly's life. Courtrooms instead of concerts, lawyers instead of live streams, headlines instead of hit songs. Whether you're famous or unknown, one decision, one environment, one night can alter your future forever. This kind of reminds me of the story of Samson and Delilah. Samson wasn't defeated because he lacked strength. He was defeated because he kept putting himself in situations where temptation had the upper hand. Then came Delilah. Not because she was stronger than him, not because he ignored wisdom, because he believed he was untouchable. And he didn't think a girl was going to be able to be his downfall. But this has been seen many through the years. Johnny Depp case became, the biggest ones. But that one was proving when someone is lying and how dangerous it is. If you're in the situation, you've done the charge, you should go to jail. Simple as that. But if you're being thrown false allegations and they destroy your life, there should be repercussions for that, because it's not fair on that person to be lied from and about and then all the way through. The only person I've seen go through that and come out better is Johnny Depp. Everyone else, I've not really seen them recover to that same kind of level. And eventually Delilah came, because she was stronger than him, but because he ignored wisdom, he believed he was untouchable, and eventually the very thing he entertained became the thing that actually brought him down. The Bible tells us repeatedly not to resist temptation, but to flee from it. Run away from it. Don't even be there in the first place. Sometimes the smartest decision isn't proving you're strong. It's never putting yourself in that situation in the first place. It's as simple as that. We're living in dark times. Success attracts attention. Money attracts people. Fame attracts temptation. Not everyone around successful people wants the best for them. And it's been seen throughout most of history. Most of the enemies will come in the closest circle. That's why really you've got to have God on your side, so he teaches you. Even Joseph was betrayed by his brothers. Threw in the lion's den. Things were told about people. Lied about Jesus as well, many times. And that's why they crucified him. And been in dark times. So you've got to be careful. And people want access. Sometimes people want clout from you. Sometimes people want money from you. Some situations become so complicated that everybody loses. That's why young men need discernment. If you constantly surround yourself with alcohol, parties, after-hour hotel rooms, and people you barely know, and you're increasing your chances of finding yourself in a situation that can change your life forever. God doesn't promise life without temptation, but he offers a wisdom to avoid paths that lead to destruction. The devil doesn't always destroy people through obvious evil. Sometimes it simply gets them to lower their guard. So my message to every young man or young woman out there is lock in, protect your future, protect your reputation, choose your environments carefully, build your relationship with God before success comes, because success without wisdom can be dangerous combination. It's not even worth to have it in the first place. You'd be better off actually having nothing. You know, Proverbs says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and he will make your path straight. Don't wait until life falls before seeking God. Many things have happened to me which were a wake-up call, and now I'm awake. I can't go back to sleep again because I've seen it now. I've seen all the dark things. I've seen the concerts, the parties, the clubs, everything. And when you come to a conclusion, you have to think, what am I gaining from going to clubs other than loot? In fact, if you wrote a list, what am I gaining when I go to clubs versus if you wrote a list, what am I losing when I go to clubs? I guarantee you the list of what you're losing is going to be way bigger. You get me? Because there is nothing that you actually gain from clubs other than losing your money, paying for overpriced drinks. It makes no sense. If you want to buy drinks, buy them at your home. It literally makes no sense to buy them. It makes no sense to show off to who? For that person for 24 hours. It's not going to go in the worldwide story. It's not going to go in the news and say, hey, do you know what? Jacob popped the ball. No one cares. Really and truly. So don't waste your time in things that don't matter. This is what the devil will have you believe in things that don't matter. Money, clothes, none of these things matter. I'm telling you, the only thing that matters is your life with God in it. So thank you for watching. See you guys soon. See you in the next video. Take care. Bye.